Welcome, foolish mortals, to my channel. I'm Katie, and today we're going to be doing some acrylic pour art. Now, I've done acrylic pouring before, but I used Floetrol and silicone oil and a bunch of other stuff, but today we're just going to be using a glue mix. Really, all you need for an acrylic pour is acrylic paint and something to thin it out with. Now, adding the glue in helps it have a honey-like consistency, which you really want to be able to flow your paint more properly. If you just put straight paint on or watered down paint, it won't hold itself as well. As you can see, I have all sorts of colors of paint that I'm going to be using today, as well as these really cool silicone tools so you could just peel the stuff off afterwards, and tiny cups that I don't feel too bad about having to throw away because they're paper. Now for my canvases, I have this really cool, the thing said that it was a coffin, but it looks a little bit more like a gravestone to me personally. It's actually supposed to be a chalkboard. I've never tested it before, but it's nice that it starts with a solid black background on it. I did have to prepare my one normal canvas. The skull is perfect the way it is, obviously, but I went ahead with my regular canvas and did black paint on the entirety of it. I went back in and taped all over the front of the black canvas because I wanted to add a cute little bat. So I wanted to, add a little bit of spice to all of my paintings today. Now, I don't know if you could tell by the colors that I chose, but every single one of these is representation of a pride flag. I will start with the coffin, like the coffin, gravestone coffin, whatever it's supposed to be. And with this, we are going to do the classic gay pride flag, or a rainbow. So for this one, I wanted to do a swipe technique. The swipe technique on acrylic pouring is so pretty. It just gives you so many cool cells, and you get almost like an agate kind of effect where the colors like pop through each other. So I did one of every color of the rainbow and liberal amount of black at the top so I could swipe all the way down just using a little acetate sheet. This is actually a shrinky dink sheet of plastic, and just drag the black all the way down. And then, like most acrylic pour, just tilted it around until the cells were kind of how I wanted. I did lose a lot of the red, which is the only thing that I was a little bit disappointed by, but I think it turned out really pretty. Now for me, the reason that I wanted to do the gay pride flag is I consider the rainbow flag to be the umbrella flag, and I also consider gay to be the umbrella term for everybody that falls under the, LGBTQI plus community. And I definitely consider myself part of that, so I wanted to do the gay flag as a representation of that. Now for my bat painting, I wanted to do a non-binary and genderqueer, both of them represented. So I did have to vary the purples. If you look at the genderqueer flag, it's more of like a lavendery purple and like a sagey kind of green. So I tried to vary them from how the paints were. Tried to lighten it up a little bit because I didn't want the purples to match exactly. Now, while I've only recently started considering myself non-binary, looking back, there was a lot of tells throughout my childhood. Like in middle school, for instance, me and my girlfriend at the time would take turns being the man on our dates. Like sometimes we would wear a fake mustache or carve out our face so it looked more masculine, and wear a top hat and stuff. And I've always really considered, societal norms of genders to be complete bullshit, and everybody could do whatever the fuck they want. So I've never really felt right with just being a female, being a girl. So I would say that genderqueer also might be a little bit more of a, accurate description, but I do consider myself both. Non-binary is just the more prevalent term, I feel, and so I wanted to do a representation of both of those flags in this piece. Now with the skull painting, I wanted to do the pansexual flag, and I also added a little bit of black because I wanted to just make it a little bit more gothy. So I mixed up my paints, and I wanted to try to do a double dirty cup flip. And usually with dirty cup flips, like, you just flip the cup onto the canvas and it's really easy and stuff, but with how like skinny these cups were, they're really floppy. I don't think I could have gotten them onto the canvas, like, without spilling it everywhere. So I flipped one of the cups and then ended up just pouring the other one on. Now, I've known that I wasn't straight since I was very young. One of my first kisses, probably before I was even in school, was with a girl, and my second kiss that I ever had was with a boy. I never knew that attraction to, both genders wasn't what was considered normal, until it came time for sex ed in elementary school, where they told us, oh, girls are supposed to go with the boys, and yeah, that's when I learned that. Surprisingly, it never came up in church. Maybe they just didn't, want to give us the idea. But in the early days of the internet, I, obviously found out that I was bisexual, and I considered myself such till I met a non-binary person for the first time, and I really liked them too. And so I, with the power of the internet back then, all I could find was bisexuality being classified as interest in just the binary sexes, boys and girls. And when I did further research, I found out, pansexuality was the thing that meant you were attracted to a person regardless of their gender. And I always felt like that was a little more true to me. I do know that now people consider bisexuality to be interest in 2 or more genders, but I've always felt that pansexual was more accurate to my sexuality. As you can see, I did go through and kind of add a little bit more of individual colors after applying the base of the paint, just where I felt like it needed a little more this or that. I kind of do wish that I added a little bit more blue. Now, after completing my pours, I did let them dry overnight, and then I had to tediously work on pulling up all the tape off of my bat piece. Unfortunately, the tape didn't really work that well. It was just washi tape, so I was surprised it didn't peel up any paint, but it was also really easy to peel off like the paint skin from the top, so I thought that was pretty cool because I could save all of my skins, which I did save for future projects. On my bat piece, I did go ahead and clean up the areas where paint had leaked through. I guess I didn't apply the tape quite as well, and I think that using the razor to like cut out the shape of the bat kind of like backfired on me a little bit. It did peel up really satisfyingly also. On my rainbow coffin gravestone thing, I decided to go ahead and add some wording. I added goth and gay on there. I did want it to have something written on it because to me it does look a little bit more like a gravestone. So I thought that would be a cute thing to have written on there. It would have been much cleaner if I had like a Posca pen or something, and if I had like sketched out the words before and not just free-handed them so that they were wonky and unaligned. But, you know, I don't think it turned out too bad. I think it looked really nice. And then on my school painting, I decided to just go in and add some cute little heart eyes and a little upside down heart nose. I just think he looks really cute like that. Unfortunately, with the paint on the skull, I don't know why. I'd mixed up my paint and stuff before, but it kept doing like this weird crackling thing. I don't know if you remember in like the early 2000s, everybody was obsessed with like that crackle nail polish that, you know, like cracked and looked like lava. It was doing that thing, which was really weird to me, but I tried to fix it a few times and ended up just embracing it because there were tiny pieces that just wouldn't fill in. Once all the pieces were dry, I took them outside and gave them a couple layers of varnish. I just used the same Krylon triple thick gloss varnish that I used in my diamond painting video. Of course, it's still super windy here, so I had to wait in between the big bursts of wind. But here's another ASMR wind chime break. And of course, while I was out there, the cat had to come and inspect, you know, as cats do. I think the gloss like really brought the colors back out. I think they turned out really, really pretty. Unfortunately, I did on the bat have a couple of hitchhikers. It's summer, there's bugs everywhere. I don't know why these bugs decided that they wanted to be sealed. I checked the other paintings and there wasn't any bugs in the other ones, so I'm not sure why this specific painting was where they wanted to go, but there's two little gnats. They're free gnats that come with this painting. Just beautiful. And I don't know why just the skull painting is super lumpy. I think it was maybe because of the white I used. I don't know, like it was really chunky. I mixed up all the paints really well, so I'm not sure why it's so chunky. But it's chunky. It's texture. It's beautiful, right? Anyways, as I've done before, I always really enjoy acrylic pours. I think they just turn out so cool. You can only control them to a certain extent, and it's kind of just like watching them bloom, you know. They kind of do their own thing. Obviously can do different techniques and get different effects, but I just really enjoy doing it, and I'm obviously going to do more in the future. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe, hit that notification bell as I'm attempting to become more regular on here. If you're looking for other ways to support the channel, feel free to leave a comment or share my videos elsewhere. And if you want to support me further, there is Linktree with Ko-Fi, and if you want to, you know, donate art supplies to me, that would be amazing. Obviously, don't feel obligated to do any of those things, but if you're looking for further ways to support this channel, feel free to. And as always, stay weird.